Yes, I am. Let me get
Hey.
situated and then I'll get my camera on.
Oh yeah, no worries. We actually just finished the presentation. We were just kind of doing a brief at the end. But this is great. So Jesus is another projector. We're all projectors. That's
Hey,
fun.
yes. I sorry I missed your presentation, but I just tried to jump on as soon as I could.
No, that's all good. Yeah. So yeah, we were just, like I said, we were just kind of going over a few things as far as the Open Identity Center, how life looks that way, multiple different friend groups and interests, which can be again a little confusing for us as with our openness, because we might not really know who we are, or what direction to move into. And with society and all the way the world works, it wants to fit us in a box, and it wants to identify us as one way, one persona. This is your occupation, this is your purpose. But in reality, and even just like studying human design a little bit more, we're also unique, and we're also special in our design, that we're here to share different gifts, but doesn't necessarily have to be in one role. It can, or in different friend groups even. So really kind of just like giving yourself that permission to be fluid, bop around a little bit. I think that's what's really the point of the Open Identity Center, is we're here to kind of be surprised about what comes out in our way and what we're excited about, not to stay fixed and focused on one thing. Hope, did you have any insights you wanted to share about the conversation?
Well, I'm very curious to find out which one I am, if I'm defined or undefined. So I'm guessing the person that did my reading, she has this chart.
Yeah, I mean, you could even pull up your chart on the website, jovianarchive.com, and it would show. You can even send it to me if you want, and I can look at it and just give you a little guidance or information that might be helpful, because I can look at the gates in that. Because I know in mine, I have the gate 1 and the gate 2, right? So the gate 1 are creative expression, and then for me it's gate 2, which is the receptive. So it's kind of this, the way I have interpreted it, it's that I have this almost like actual channel of my being connecting to the higher self, right? Receiving, my receptive self is connecting to kind of be guided in my creative expression. So, it's a little bit of embodiment, it's a little bit of awareness of self, but it's also just kind of asking my higher guidance, if you want to connect to the universe, source, some higher God or whatever, and kind of just listening. So it's just discerning what comes through and allowing myself to be like, oh, okay, how do I want to express this? Is it through dance? Is it through art? Is it through music? Is it through conversation with people? Is it through exercise? Yesterday, I don't know what it was. I just there was something that needed to be moved. And so I couldn't focus on anything. So I went for a run, and then I'm dog sitting. So I walked the dog, and right after I just oh my God, idea, write it down. So it's interesting how our body, when we listen and we're building that awareness and discernment, what comes through. So yeah, I'd like to know, but I would bet money that you're open. Have an Open Identity Center. Yeah. Do you guys know your profiles? That's fun to talk about.
Meaning?
So your profile has the 2 numbers, like a 1 through 6. You're what?
4-1.
4-1. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm a 2-4 easy breezy genius.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And Jesus, I think, what were you?
Let me see my chart.
5-1.
I think I mentioned it. I had my chart on my old phone. I got a new phone.
Yeah,
I think it was a 5-1.
I was gonna say, I think it was 5-1. I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what is it? The something investigator.
what do they call that? Yeah. No. Heretic. I think it's the heretic.
There you go. Yep.
Heretic and
that's what
investigators. The heretic's 5. So 4 ones, really awesome. Network connector, people connector, love connecting with people. Also very kind of interested, curious about the world. You want to know like you want to know details of things. So you're like, you love to look things up. So it might be just fun for you to, you know, say someone was talking about trees and you're like, oh, where does the tree come from? No, I don't know. Nobody knows where the tree comes from. So you go online, you Google it, you find out where it's from, where it came from, how to grow it, do that. So that's the one line. Yeah. Those people are like to like kind of know the process of everything. And then the 2s, 2 4s, that's great too. Naturally gifted. People recognize you, but maybe you have a hard time recognizing yourself. Also very important to be connected with people. Your network is your net worth in ways. So it's good to kind of tap into that. 2s also can be kind of shy, but they call them the hermit. So they tend to require, now Hope Kayla's a 2-4 too. Kayla's 2-4. And so they tend to require like actual physical space, downtime. Most projectors need that anyway. So, but as a 2, what stands out the most is that naturally, you're just naturally gifted. Like you're the applicator. You've learned something and you can just naturally good at it. And 5 1s. Okay. The 5s are really here to be like black and white. You know, it's kind of like, this is the goal. This is the plan. Here's how I know how to do it. Everybody, not in a bad way, but it's like everybody, this is the way it rolls. And also being like that 1, there's a lot of like policies and procedures. There's a lot of like details you like to look at and like ensure are in place. Technicality is very important for you. And also like you kind of have this, it's kind of leadership in a way where people see your system is implemented. It's like a fixed system that can be replicated and implemented in ways. So you kind of develop that skill set, that knowledge around something and be able to teach it. So you're like the teacher. It's like a 5's like a teacher. The 5 1 is a teacher. Yeah. So that's cool. So fun.
I did have a question. When you have make sure I get all these terminologies correct. When you have a gate that is colored in, but it's not, and it's got the the line coming out of it, but it's not connected to the next center above it or below it or beside it. What does that mean?
So you're right, that is a gate. So if it were connected, that would be a channel, but it's only the one, so it's a gate. So your gate is another center, mini centers. Think of it as like a mini center, like a subsection of that center. And so it's just it's just where you have energy, where you might have energy. So for example, the 1 being the creative expression, it's just saying that you have energy, like more, I would say more passion, more aliveness, more enthusiasm for that particular thing. On the flip side, but because it's not connected, it might not go anywhere. So I think so it's 1 and 8, that's the connecting channel there. And so 8 is connected to the throat center. So think of expression, communicating, expressing ourselves. So when we only have part of that, we're going to be blocked. It might not be as consistently received or consistently coming out. When you have the channel, it's much more, I want to use the word symmetry. There's symmetry there. So the 8 is I think it's the alchemist maybe. So it's using what you create. It's using what you create and being able to, I don't say do something with it, but maybe
project it. You're projecting it.
Make it more purposeful. Yeah, maybe make it more flow. Doesn't mean that you can't. Doesn't mean that you can. If you only have that gate, doesn't mean that the other connecting space is not there for you, because there's transits of the planets that activate different gates as the sun rotates, as the planets rotate. So for example, that changes like every, however many seconds or minutes. So there are certain apps that you can use to help. It's like, oh, wow, like I feel like I'm very chatty today, and I'm not kidding. Today, there's a transit that actually puts energy in our throats. Our throat center is defined today. And that goes for everybody. It's the same, it's universal. It's like the astrology system, right? So when Mercury's in retrograde, it's not Mercury's in retrograde for you. They're talking about the overall universal. So that's same with human design and the gates. So there can be times when those are activated. Yeah. Or like a day you wake up and you're like, whoa, I have a lot of energy today. And it could be that the energy systems are activated today. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say with the gates, is that it's present, that energy's there. All the gates have different different meanings and different expressions too. So it means the energy's there. If it's not connected, that just means it's not as easily, I'm gonna say balance, like yin yang almost, because one side is the gate that you have, and then say the connecting gate, it balances them. So it's supposed to bring them into unison. And when you don't have one, it might be just a little bit more difficult to be in unison, because you can't consistently access that. Yeah. And it gets even more involved. Like each gate has subsections too. So like if you look at your chart and you have on the side like all the numbers, and then they have like your gate number, and then there's like a 0.6 or 0.2, that's another subsection of it all. So it's really cool. It's kind of nerdy, so it's cool.
When you talk about the universal, that like Mercury retrograde and all that, what you said, there's an app that you use, or?
Yeah. So it'll show you. So the app is actually called the Human Design app.
Oh.
And when you go on there, it should automatically, it might ask you to pull in like your information, because it will calculate your chart for you. And so it will look like this. So this is talking about today's transits. You can see the defined center and the throat center, and actually identity center, which is cool. Just what we're talking about today. There's like access to energy in the identity center. And then all of these, the black lines are activated gates in the transit. So it is pretty neat. It will tell you some information there. You can add charts. So you can add your chart if you want to look at it, add multiple charts, look at current transits, play around with it a little bit. If you click on it, click around, it'll tell you like information on it'll tell you information on the different centers.
Function very differently.
But I would say take it with a grain of salt, because there's some discrepancies on there that I've had some human design analysis point out where they don't agree with, because they've studied with the original teacher or his students too. So I would just say be open, and don't always, especially on apps, like, it's unless it's coming from the source, the creator, and like very well written or received information, then some of it online, the new age stuff, can kind of get misinterpreted. Yeah.
So the Lion's Gate and everything, that portal and all, is that what the universe stuff?
So that would have been, I would say it's more like new age astrology. Yeah, I think, I mean, I wouldn't say it made a big difference in human design. What human design people are really amping up for is in 2027. So there's, it was channeled by Ra Uru. He is the founder of human design, or the one who created the system, or received the system. And he predicts that in like 2027, that the energy is going to shift where projectors become the leaders of the world. Because right now we're in a generator manifestor world where it's hustle culture, right? It's grind, it's it's power, it's money, it's business goes this way, you do it this way, my way, the highway kind of thing, when in reality, like, it's not. And they need the projectors guidance to fix the system. So that's basically what is predicted in 2027, is that there's going to be a shift in power, shift in energy, and it's very abstract. So I don't know exactly, how that's going to look. They've also reported that there's more projectors being born. So there's a rise in projectors. So there's a rise in, they're saying, our guides for the next decade or the next generation, the next 10 generations, however the world is going to evolve. So it is really interesting. I think it's fun. I don't get hung up on it. I think it's very fascinating. I think there's a lot of correlations with things that I'm a little skeptical. I'm always very skeptical. I think we all should be. So that's why it's kind of fun though, because it's how skeptical can I be, but still play with this, still, try it out, live the experiment. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. And then, so the Lion's Gate was more the 8-8, just new age power portals, things like that,
Yeah. And I agree with the, question everything, the skepticism and stuff, but it also on the other side makes, it has made a lot of like, aha things like that. Oh, no wonder this is that, or this is how I felt, or this is how it went down because I'm that, but that's how I feel. I don't know if it's true, but.
Yeah. The same way when I first learned about human design, my jaw dropped and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yes. I felt it in my bones, right? I was like, this is why I feel so different. I feel so alien like here. I don't understand how people don't see life like I do. I don't know. It was always very bizarre to me. Like I always felt like I could see the world differently, and it didn't make sense why other people couldn't, until I learned about human design. And even more specifically, being a mental projector, it's very, very heady. And so with more of the openness in the body, we feel it's literally like being out of our body. But it's hard because, again, there's no energy down here. There's nothing that we can connect to consistently to bring us down and ground us. So we're kind of seeing always. But yeah. How's everybody? We feeling okay?
Yeah. I mean, didn't see the presentation, but just from like our current conversation, I definitely relate to you, Molly, on like feeling like this invitation has always, I've like inviting people to things has always felt like just doesn't align with me. It just never felt aligned. So yeah, learning more about a projector has really helped me just understand like, yeah, that doesn't make me like, I wasn't antisocial. It was just like, it just didn't align with me. And now that I know like how to surround myself by the people that really care about me and like can see my energy and value me, and then invite me to things because they know me well, it makes a huge difference. And I've made a big change in like the friends groups that I've hang out with, of like who I'm hanging with, spending time with. Instead of like feeling like I need to keep inviting people, I'm surrounding myself by people that invite me. And the invitation is like, I'm getting better at understanding like, is this a yes or this a no? And then checking in with myself, like before I commit to something, or like sometimes I'll like verbally say yes, and as I'm saying it, I'm like, maybe I need to take that back. And I'm learning that's how I know my for sure yes, or my for sure no's. Like I gotta like talk it out, and as I'm speaking it, I'm like then I feel my energy of like, oh yeah, that doesn't really sit well with me. Maybe I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, a lot of this is really helpful.
Yeah. And when did you learn about human design?
I learned about it like maybe a year ago.
Okay.
But then I didn't really look into it. I just kind of learned about it. I'm like, okay. And then it didn't come around to like maybe 6 months ago again. I'm like, then I started following some people on Instagram, and then I started actually talking to folks that actually they seem pretty, they are pretty like knowledgeable about it. And then I started really getting into it like the last 3 months
Mm-hmm.
and spreading the word to like my closest friends. And then now we're all in it.
Yeah.
All in it together. And then it's like, no wonder we click. And it's like, yes, like now you can like know what I need, or at least like what's like my preference or whatever. Yeah, it's been helpful.
I think it's one of the biggest things too, right? It's we learn how to advocate for ourselves a little bit more instead of saying yes to everything. It's like, wait, I need time before I decide, or I need to be alone, or I need this, instead of giving so much to others. And yes, because maybe we've been conditioned to do that, or that's just what is expected of us from others. What we say is, oh, they expect us to, people don't care. You know what I mean? They get over it. Most mature people will understand. Yeah, I think it's interesting. What I've started to do as far as it goes with invitations and like seeing if it's right for me is someone invites me to something, and kind of like you, Jesus, I said yes to something yesterday, and literally within like 3 minutes, I text my friend. I was like, nope, sorry. It's automatic no, because I put myself in that situation already. They were going out to dinner. They had already eaten. I hadn't eaten. So they're going to a brewery. And I hadn't eaten. So I was like, oh, am I going to be the only one eating there? And he's like, oh yeah, just come. I'm like, I was like, yeah, okay. And then I'm thinking like, that's not my energy. Like, I don't want to be scarfing food, trying to talk to people I don't know in like a loud environment and not enjoy like my peace and quiet and have digestion like on point. And no, doesn't. So same. I just like imagining myself, putting myself in that situation and really feeling in my body like, does my sensory system like this? Am I going to feel juicy, cozy, and comfortable? And then kind of being able to discern from there, is it a yes or is it a no? But yeah.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And same with what Jesus was saying. But for me, it's a full body yes or no, especially more recently. I've been doing a whole lot of more inner work and like on other calls and things. But like Debbie and I, we met online, but now we have traveled together and things. And we've gone on a cruise together. And last week we were in Orlando together. And so that when we're in these environments, there are invitations to other things. And for me, I know flat out right away, nope, I cannot be in that energy. Like, we had an event, it was big energy. I wanted to integrate all of it and just go sit at the pool in the sun for a little bit in the quiet. And we sat in the quiet pool. And anyway, I feel it so much in my body, whether I don't even have to think about it anymore. And maybe it's because I'm older. It's like, nope, or yes, I would love to do that. There's no gray area.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's very helpful to live your life like that, not doing things because someone else might want you to do it, or somebody else you think it's going to make them happy or whatever. It's how does it feel for me?
Really, yeah, I think another thing is disappointment, right? We don't really like internally, like our primal system doesn't want to disappoint people because we want them to look after us if something were to happen. We want people to have our back. But again, it goes with knowing yourself, knowing what is correct for you, and then advocating. And I think communicating that, your needs, most people again should understand or have some sort of compassion or self-awareness too, that everybody's got unique needs and everybody does things differently. So yeah.
I think it's interesting I have so many of my centers are open, and only 2 are defined, and I'm anticipating that the awareness that's going to come through this study is going to reveal itself, that there are things that I've taken on, like you said, the personas of other individuals, of the expectations that have been, sent down either generationally or, laterally through people that I've been influenced by. And there's going to be some shucking, I think, that could be happening. Now, I'm older than all of you probably put together, well, except for Hope. But you know, anticipating that, it was like, okay, son, daughter-in-law, mom, you're going to have to get prepared for this because something may happen. And how am I going to explain? Well, you know, my human design says that I should do that, and I don't want to be this. I don't want to be like that. But it's, you know, it's like sometimes you do have to just let things go.
Mhm. Mhm. And don't explain yourself. I mean, we want to for the betterment of other people. We don't need to. You know, if you know in your body, you know something, or you need, your soul requires you to go or do something differently, we don't need to give explanations. But I think a big part of it too is kind of, of course, everybody's so unique and there's different there's just different tools within the human design, right? Your profile, your strategy, and or your authority, really, the center that guides you. So really learning how to utilize that, your decision-making process, and really just not taking things so seriously. I think that's kind of one of the bigger lessons for me. It's like, again, we have this open identity center. Most of, I hope we're probably. But with that being said, you know, we're really here to have fun, a good time. But like I used the analogy earlier, Jesus, of floating down a river on a raft. People with the defined center stay on that one river, and they're going to stay on that one path. They might float to the side, kind of get caught up in the swirl, and then get pushed back into the middle. Other people with the defined centers, they might hop on their inner tube down that river for a little bit. This is fun. And then on, you know, a little bit while later, it gets boring. So they hop off, they trudge through woods, find another river, jump on that river. Hey, let's float in this river for a little bit. So I think that's just, you know, it's a good analogy. It's a good reminder for us with that openness that like, we're here to dance around, try things out, see what feels good for now, and live life. So yeah. I know it's getting late for you guys, East Coast time. Are there any final thoughts or questions before we wrap it up?
Well, I want to say
That analogy really helped.
Oh, good. I heard on a podcast, I won't take credit for it, but I was like, I love this.
yeah, that is a really good analogy, and thank you for putting this together. I really appreciate your time and effort. I know it's a lot, so thanks for sharing.
Yeah. When there's energy there, it's not. So I don't know what like came through me. It's that creative expression last week. I was just like, I need to put this out. This is happening for fun. It's a big thing. It's for fun. There's no pressure on it. I'm just, yeah, we're here.
So Molly, do you have like a community that you do this with, or do we have next steps? What do we
Sure,
just
I'm glad you asked. I had different ideas, but without an invitation, I wasn't, you know, I didn't want to put that on anybody. So my mind, you know, I'm just kind of leaning into how this feels. I would love to continue and look at how we can grow a little safe community. It actually would feel good for me too if it was just projectors, and I don't want to be like, you know, that's not exclusive, but kind of more of a support group where we can talk about different things that might be coming up. I would be happy to target a center each time we meet, maybe like once or twice a month, whatever we want to do. And it would be totally informal. There would be no like structured plan. It would really just be kind of helping me to learn the system. You know, I want to be able to take this information and help support and guide people as a business or as a service. So I'm really just doing this right now to get a feel and kind of just go from there. Yeah. So if that's kind of what you guys are interested in, maybe we can do like a bi-weekly meeting, or I would even be down for weekly, but that's just because I like to get in the nitty-gritty of everything. We could always start off, maybe if you want to try meeting next week. And if it's kind of not really working, or if it doesn't work out for you, that's not a problem. We can go from there.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. And
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I am so new to this. I discovered it like a year ago, like Jesus said, like a year ago. It just kind of came on the radar. I was listening to a James Wedmore podcast, and he was interviewing somebody that, did readings and talked a lot about human design. I thought, but I was driving down the interstate, and I said, I need to follow up on this. And it just kind of went in and kind of got cataloged. And then Hope and I were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. And she said, well, what are you? And I said, well, I think I've heard of that before. So of course I immediately ran and jumped on it. That's like, I guess that is probably one of our traits.
They want to know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to know right now. I'm going to get on here and find out, what's going on. Now, so yeah, I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah.
Well, then when we found out she's a projector, we're like,
yeah. And she was, I told her, I said, okay. I said, I'm this thing called a projector. And she goes, you're a projector? I'm a projector too. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
It's just silly.
It's been really cool. Like kind of randomly, I put it out to the universe like a month ago that I was ready to cycle into something new, because I've noticed my patterns. It's like every 3 or 4 months my identity shifts into something else. I get all worked up in this. And with the retreat we did, Hope, like Kayla and I were like really into nutrition, really into fitness, really into just like body health. And then I noticed about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was not motivated for the gym. I mean, I generally can go and be fine, but I was getting to that point where I was like, I don't even want to be here. Like, I don't care. And so I asked the universe, I'm like, what's my next project? Like my next interest. And it just kind of slowly showed itself. So, okay. It's been something I've always played around with for the last like 3 years. But now I'm feeling it's definitely much more, it's where I want to put more of my energy into. So yeah, as projectors, we want to figure things out. We want to see the world. We want to understand the world. So learning a system, learning one that, kind of explains why we are the way we are and why people are the way they are is probably why we're here.
Cool.
Cool. So what I think I might do then, guys, if this works for you all, I'll just create a Facebook page. Is everybody, that way I can post the link in there too. And if anybody else wants to join, we can just direct them to the Facebook group, have like a universal chat off like apps, or off like the chat apps, because those get ridiculous with the notifications. So
yeah. And are you going to keep it for projectors only? Our little
I
support group?
feel like it's funny because most of the people that I've invited were all projectors too. So it just happened. It was like a coincidence. So I think I'm like subconsciously going to say yes. I'm thinking that's probably how it's just going to be. And if we get other people who are interested in who aren't, that's fine too. We can just see how the energy feels with it.
Yeah, share that link whenever you can. I have a friend that's also a projector, the one that actually got me into human design. I would love to invite her in too. I totally forgot to let her know about this, but if you get that started, I would love for her to join if she can.
Cool. Yeah. And I can actually, what I'm going to do too is probably by tomorrow, or at least definitely by the weekend, I have the content recorded from the talk today, which I'll send out, and I can even put that on the Facebook page that I'll create. That way newcomers or whoever gets added, they can just watch. They'll have access to the recording to get a sense of information and stuff, kind of where we're at. But yeah, we'll keep it semi-informal. Is that the open? We'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, and watch it evolve.
Yeah. That's what they say with projectors. It'll come, just wait, just let it happen. I'm like, but I want to make this happen now in this way because I know.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Start putting up your landing page, your sales page. I'm like, no, and that's too much work. It's not how it's gonna be. So anyway, guys, I want to say thanks for showing up and having talking story with me. And yeah, going from there.
It's fun to meet you all.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll keep posted. What times and days work best for you guys as far as meeting? Is evening times okay like this for my East Coast?
Yeah, it's probably the best.
Yes, but and Thursdays are great for me. I have some other commitments
Sure, sure,
on Tuesday and Wednesday,
okay,
but Thursdays pretty open.
sure. I think I know for at least the next couple weeks, Thursdays should be good for me. My schedule might change in September or mid-September. But if that happens, we'll just talk and see what works.
all right.
Okay, guys.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Aloha.
Yes, aloha. Bye.